High-altitude satellites have just captured fresh images of a place that technically doesn't exist on any map. Hidden within North Korea's jagged mountains lies the Kwanliso system, a network of brutal prison camps holding over 200,000 souls. Tonight, we are piercing the veil of state secrets to expose the horrific reality inside. Dr. Han Soo-min spends her days in Seoul staring at secrets that hide in plain view of the open sky. The camp filling her monitor was officially shut down in 2012, which makes its freshly poured guard towers an impossible piece of architecture. Pyongyang scrubbed the place from every map it prints, but no government has yet figured out how to delete a mountain from orbit. Month after month, the perimeter creeps outward, as though the lie itself has outgrown its fences and needs more land. Han files her report on the expansion, and her superiors do something stranger than denial. They archive an atrocity the way clerks archive weather. So she keeps digging, driven by a reason she has never typed into any official form. Those exact mountains appear in the oldest letter her family owns. The letter belonged to her grandmother, carried no postmark from any real place, and arrived 60 years late, folded inside the coat pocket of a total stranger. Dr. Han tells herself this is research, though some nights it feels closer to inheritance. Then the winter satellite pass delivers images sharp enough to hurt, and one building freezes her hand on the mouse. Razor wire circles it, towers watch it, dogs patrol it. Yet someone has painted it the cheerful colors of a school. Schools, she knows, are not built where no children are allowed to exist, which leads her to the conclusion she cannot put in any report. Camp 14 has not simply expanded. It has prepared a room for children who haven't even been born yet. June is 8 years old and wealthier than any king he will never hear of. He owns the entire world, all 4 square miles of it. No judge sentenced him and no soldier dragged him through the gate, because in this place, birth itself performs the arrest. His first lesson was not the alphabet. It was the camp's commandments, and the very first ordered him to report everyone, beginning with the people who fed him. Love behind this wire is taught running backwards. Betrayal is rewarded as loyalty, while loyalty is filed as crime. So on the gray afternoon, June spots his mother sliding 3 corn kernels into her sleeve. He does exactly what a good son has been built to do. He tells. The guards pour his reward into his bowl, while his mother bleeds beside the ration line, and the boy feels something that should be impossible: pride. He sleeps that night with a full stomach and does not yet notice the new hollow opening somewhere else. What no one explains is that pride here is the camp's cruelest loan, one the heart repays years later, with interest no boy can calculate. Some nights, he lies on the barracks floor and listens to guards laugh about a place they call outside, a word he files away as the name of another camp. By accident, the 8-year-old is right. The country past the fence is simply a larger enclosure with better food. Still, the word slips under his skin like a splinter no one can see. And splinters, given enough years, always finish their slow journey toward the heart. June's file answers the question of his crime with perfect bureaucratic honesty: existing. The actual offense was committed in 1977 by a grandfather the boy never met. One sentence of doubt, spoken over a dinner that has outlived everyone who ate it. That single sentence traveled down 3 generations and slowly hardened into 4 walls around a child. On paper, this is justice. In the registry's own language, it is called cleansing the bloodline. His mother carries the whole story inside her and protects her son from it the only way this camp permits, with silence. But her silence is a hiding place for something much louder. 15 years of guard rotations, memorized minute by minute, while her eyes pretended to study the dirt. Every shift change she has counted, every patrol gap she has timed, all stored in the one place the searches can never open: her mind. The escape she is drawing contains one flaw, and she engineered it herself. The route carries exactly one person, and she was never going to be that person. Other mothers watch horizons. She watches the electric fence the same way, as the only inheritance she is left to give. The night she finally bends to June's ear and whispers the plan, the barracks' darkness is holding one extra pair of ears. A single report now would feed them both to the wire. Informing is, after all, this camp's most reliable harvest. Yet the listener does something the rulebook has no form for. He walks away and writes nothing. Because Captain Ryu, the most decorated guard in Camp 14, has just committed the first crime of his career: hesitation. The system manufactured Captain Ryu the way the camp manufactures furniture: functional, replaceable, and numb on every surface. His training carved one lesson deepest of all, that prisoners are not people. A lesson that held perfectly for 11 years, until one prisoner aged into his mother's face. That night, curiosity sent him to the records room, where he pulled his own family file and discovered the state's best-kept joke. His bloodline sits exactly one denunciation away from the wrong side of the fence he patrols. The wire, he finally understands, has never separated the guilty from the innocent, only the lucky from the unlucky. Weeks ago, he overheard a mother bequeath her son a fence and learned that reporting her would feel less like duty and more like confessing something about himself. So the camp's most decorated guard quietly opens a business in its rarest contraband: mercy. An extra ration slipped here, a slow head turn offered there. Treason so small the scales shouldn't notice, yet they weigh more than the towers. He soon learns the arithmetic no manual prints. Mercy is deadlier than escape, because escape only kills the prisoner. Mercy, if discovered, executes the giver, the receiver, and everyone who watched without screaming. And the watchers are about to multiply, because the new cameras are coming. Glass eyes that never blink, never doubt, never pity. Machines, unlike men, cannot hesitate, which happens to be the only crime Ryu has left to commit. That hands the model soldier a deadline no academy ever trained him for: be human quickly, or never be human at all. Camp 14 keeps a balance sheet, and somewhere in its columns, June appears, not as a prisoner, but as equipment. The mine quotas were written by men who will never lift a pickaxe, then calibrated to the exact gram of rice that keeps a boy's arm swinging. Feed him 1 spoon more, and he might find the strength to think. 1 spoon less, and the equipment stops producing. Hunger is the true warden of this place. The guards merely supervise its shifts. Prisoners are ranked above prisoners by careful design, so the caged spend their remaining strength building their own cage. 16 now, June assembles components stamped with letters he cannot read, bound for addresses farther than his imagination owns maps. His hands manufacture objects that will tour a world he has been assured does not exist. He polishes each piece carefully, never guessing the strangest truth. The products will travel free while their maker was born sentenced. The profit never lingers in these mountains. It flows downhill, straight into missiles aimed at the customers. Buyers abroad fund the fences without ever reading the label. Then, one gray morning, the trucks deliver the future. Towers crowned with glass eyes that learn faces and predict footsteps. The regime announces modernization. The prisoners need no new vocabulary, because doom already answers to several names here. From the ration line, June's mother counts the crates and performs the fastest arithmetic of her life. Machines that never sleep are about to replace men who sometimes blink, and her entire plan lives inside one man's blink. The escape she rationed for someday has just been repriced. Tonight. Escape night arrives dressed as an ordinary one, because in Camp 14, even hope must wear a uniform. The plan is nothing but geometry. 1 sector, 4 minutes, and a fence that kills faster than any guard can aim. By some miracle of scheduling, Ryu's patrol owns that sector tonight. A coincidence his report will carefully spell: coincidence. At the wire, there are no farewells, because the mother has spent 15 years saying goodbye in advance. She hands her son the only inheritance the camp ever let her save: a push. The fence collects its toll exactly as engineered, but collects the wrong person, as she turns her own body into the bridge she once promised. June crosses into freedom over his mother and learns that liberty posts its price right at the door. The current that should have ended him is busy holding her instead. He runs into snow that refuses to stop at any wall, the first infinite thing his eyes have ever been allowed to see. While every step is the farthest anyone of his bloodline has traveled in 3 generations. Behind him, the alarms stay asleep 4 minutes longer than physics should permit, a gift no one will ever thank. Ahead, the legendary outside turns out to be real, and also cold, hungry, and sold by the kilometer. He has survived the deadliest border on Earth, only to discover that hunger carries no passport. Smugglers will price his footsteps, informers will price his face. The boy who owned the whole world now owns nothing in it, except a story no one alive will believe. June's road south is paved with brokers who price human beings like livestock. Freedom, it turns out, is sold retail. Twice he is nearly traded back to the country that bred him, and twice he survives using the camp's oldest export, invisibility. Years of being nobody turn out to be perfect training for crossing borders as no one. In Seoul, the welcome carries its own twist. Officials privately file defector testimony under exaggeration, horror being too large for their paperwork. Dr. Han sits down expecting one more story she cannot verify. Instead, the boy begins describing her classified satellite photographs from the inside. He sketches buildings he has never seen pictured, and her pixels confirm his pencil. Line for line. 20 years of espionage technology, verified by a pencil stub and a boy who cannot read. The fence he crossed once is being crossed again, this time by memory, traveling in reverse. Then he mentions the painted building, the one the prisoners call the school, and her blood runs colder than orbit. It is not a school, he explains. It is where the camp grows its next harvest. Children there are assigned as rewards before they are even conceived, bred property with birthdays. The same state that denies these camps exist is quietly operating maternity wards inside them. Denial apparently has a nursery. Shaken, Han lays the boy's family story beside her grandmother's unsent letter, and the mountains match. She came hunting for evidence and may have stumbled onto the one thing no archive ever warned her about: blood. Han follows the money and discovers it has been following her. Some of it may be sitting in her own apartment. Camp-made goods leave the mountains through front companies with freshly laundered names. Slavery, gift-wrapped as ordinary trade. The paper trail is spotless precisely because the hands that made the products were not. Tracing the AI tower's components leads somewhere worse than enemy territory, to firms headquartered in nations that condemn Pyongyang every single year. Condemnation, she learns, ships separately from commerce. Every contract closes a flawless loop. Prisoners fund the missiles that guard the prisons that hold the prisoners. The victims are, in effect, billed for their own captivity. Publishing all this should be simple, except the proof lives behind the one border that evidence rarely crosses alive. The world will believe a satellite, but satellites cannot photograph a receipt. Then one midnight, her inbox blinks with the impossible. Encrypted files, internal registries, footage of camp trials, transmitted from inside the wire itself. Somewhere in that kingdom of watchers, someone in uniform is bleeding the system's secrets, one smuggled drive at a time. The fortress that monitors every face has somehow missed the one staring directly into its files. The leak's greatest danger isn't being caught stealing documents, it's being caught feeling. Every packet arrives unsigned except for a single word no guard manual has ever contained. Sorry. An apology, smuggled out of a place built to make apologies impossible. Han doesn't know his name yet, but somewhere north of the border, the regime is already shortening its list. Ryu's treason is finally uncovered, and the discoverer is the person he trusted most. The protégé he personally trained to notice everything. The student's denunciation purchases a promotion because this system pays its children handsomely for devouring their fathers. 11 years of decorated loyalty are erased by 4 minutes of paperwork. His trial convenes, where camp trials always have. Inside a place the law insists does not exist. The verdict was written before the questions. The questions exist only to fill the silence. His sentence is the camp's favorite flavor of irony. The guard becomes inventory. The man who counted prisoners every dawn now answers when the numbers are called. They throw him among inmates who spent years memorizing his face, and he waits calmly for the revenge he knows he has earned. Instead, hands thinner than his own slide rations toward him in the dark. Old mercy is being repaid in the only currency the camp has never learned to confiscate. From inside the cage he once patrolled, the fallen guard completes his final smuggle. The registry he enforced, copied name by name. Bloodlines, dates, prisoner numbers. The complete inventory of the erased, leaked by their own eraser. The drive crosses the border, sewn into a trader's coat. The last export Camp 14's best soldier will ever sign. He guarded the fence for a decade, only to become the largest breach in its history. And when Han finally decrypts the files in Seoul, the first name glowing on her screen is no stranger's. It is her grandmother's. The registry confirms what the letter spent 60 years fearing. Han's grandmother never escaped in 1977. The wire took her, and she died inside. But registries record what graves cannot. The bloodline did not end. It was sentenced. 3 generations of that sentence later, the family's surviving branch carries a prisoner number, and Han has already shaken its hand. June, the boy whose memories matched her satellites, is the cousin that history hid from her. She searched the sky for proof and found relatives. The interview arranged to verify a camp has accidentally verified a family. 2 strangers compared notes on an atrocity, never suspecting they were comparing inheritances. The regime built Camp 14 to erase one lineage, and instead delivered its 2 severed halves to the same small room in Seoul. Erasure, it turns out, keeps immaculate records, and leaked records perform resurrections. So, the grandmother who died officially non-existent now exists twice, once in a registry, once in the blood of 2 survivors reading it. Because the camp's true defense was never the electrified fence, it was the world's forgetting. And tonight, simply by watching this far, you became the breach in that defense. Somewhere in those mountains, the glass-eyed towers still count 200,000 people who officially do not exist. Somewhere in smuggled registries, more names like June's are waiting in the dark for a reader. The question is no longer whether the lists exist. We are holding one. The question is who will still be alive when we finally read them all.